In today's adventure, we're exploring the dying Chambersburg Mall, located in rural south-central Pennsylvania. Opened in 1982, near the start of the shopping mall boom in the United States, the mall experienced a great deal of success during the first few decades, operating at nearly full 75-store capacity, including 4 anchor department stores. With the decline of the traditional shopping mall that began in the early 2000s, the mall's success began to slow, and was eventually sold to a series of real estate investment trusts. However, neither investor was able to stop the mall's rapid decline, as anchor stores and smaller retailers left, with no one to replace them. Today, out of the 75 available retail locations, the mall sits at barely 10% occupancy. We're going to explore what's left of this prime example of late 20th century Americana. I shot this footage on a Saturday afternoon in the summer, which would normally be one of the busiest times for a mall. However, what I experienced was anything but normal. Join me as we explore what's left of this technically operational, yet nearly dead mall. Despite the impression this directory gives patrons, with the exception of the antique store that is now occupying one of the anchor store locations, at least 90% of these stores are closed. Who knows when, but it's clear that at some point the mall just gave up with updating this directory. But in the actual main part, I am the only one that I can see. Almost every store I walked by was closed in this fashion. The metal security gate covered the entrance, but the empty store itself was left open to passers-by, with almost no attempt at improving the visual impression these closed stores were giving. And somehow, the lack of caring got worse the farther along I went. So literally the first store that we've come across, like I mentioned, that's still open is this antique mall, and for some reason they have it closed off to the rest of the mall, even though the mall, this part is technically open. So I can't fathom what the logic is behind that. so we come to our first two open stores inside the actual mall. Both these stores felt incredibly out of place. It's like no one told them the party was canceled and everyone went home. Bath & Body Works was especially confusing, as they had 5 employees working, more than the total number of patrons I saw the entire time at the mall. The centerpiece of the mall was one of my favorite parts. Between the giant flag, the stage, and the lighting that looked to be 50 years old, everything about it was so out of place, and yet oddly nostalgic. I'm assuming back in the day they used to do plays on this stage. That's what the lighting is for. These well-kept tables and chairs, still sitting outside of what I'm assuming used to be a restaurant, was certainly an odd find. I wonder if they've been sitting here for years, or if they get put away nightly. I should have checked for a layer of dust. I'm shocked by the fact that they have to have a sign that says, "Please dispose of your tobacco products before entering the Family Fun Center." Stores 3 and 4 open inside. I have no idea if this is actually open or not, but if it is, I would make number 5. It looks like it's open, except the gate is closed. So let's give them some credit. 5 stores so far. Wow, even a gym couldn't make it. Those Christmas decorations? Wow. I couldn't wrap my head around the mall Inception style confusion that was this spot. A 4-H club kept behind a temporary wall and what appear to be temporary French doors that are behind the security gate of a former Hallmark store. And just when I thought I had reached a high point with the Speakeasy 4-H club, I came across a commercial boom lift just sitting in the middle of this empty store. Okay, it is just full of junk. What does that say? Learning. I'm pretty sure that says learning with Grammy. There were buckets like this all over the mall, but I'm embarrassed to admit it wasn't until now that I realized that they were to catch water from the leaky ceiling. I realized these reddish spots are from dirty water, but I couldn't help but think they gave the appearance of blood. I was very amused by the dirty blood water dried on the sign about making repairs. Given the state of the rest of the mall, I couldn't help but wonder what could be bad enough at this end to warrant being roped off. So really, if you want to talk about actual stores that are open here that seem to really intend on doing business, you have T-Mobile and Bath & Body Works. That is basically it in the theater, I guess. Everything else, those couple other stores we saw, clearly don't have much of an interest in actually doing business. Yeah.
Did you ask the mall off?
So I ended up having to actually cut that a little short because in addition to paying for all the lights and the loud blaring music and the air conditioning, they also pay for a security guard who felt the need to come out and tell me that I wasn't allowed to film in there. I was going down to show you the theater, and I guess the security office is right across from the theater, so he politely came out and told me to stop filming. I just find it fascinating that management is paying for that. I cannot imagine the amount of money that they're losing on a daily basis, but I mean, whatever floats their boat, I guess. So until next time, I will talk to you soon. All right, bye. The Chambersburg Mall is merely one example of a dying indoor mall movement happening across the world as commerce shifts more and more to online retailers. As someone who grew up in the 90s with the local mall being a staple of childhood, it's sad to see these once popular establishments quickly becoming relics of a bygone era, and almost inevitably, just another abandoned building to either be demolished or forgotten.